Hey everyone. So in the last part, I was teaching you about the respiration, and here we will be learning about the transportation, though I have mentioned that before. I have also told you that first we will be learning that in plants and then we will be learning that in animals. So let me just share my screen and let's start learning that thing. Here you see. So basically, I'm going to put this on the full screen and then I will start. It's fine. I do not keep anything surprised because you know what we are going to learn. So the first thing is, at least let me show you what we are going to cover. So we will be covering transportation in plant, and then we will be covering transpiration and its type. And then what we have to cover is, hold on for a second. I suppose I have kept my pen somewhere, but that's fine. I'll continue. I'll see that later. So transportation in plant, and then there's transpiration and its types, and there's transportation in human being and blood vessels. So this thing we have to cover in the plant, and then further we will be talking about the animals, as in human we have to cover. Transportation itself is a big topic. It's fine if you are not able to complete this in this part. We have next chapters, next part coming up, so everything will be covered. Do not worry. So the first thing that we have to talk about is transportation in plant. First of all, transportation is things are moving from one place to another place. So there are two things. One is water, and then there is food material, and then there is nutrients and minerals. This nutrient and mineral can move with the water and also with the food. But water plus mineral thing, it used to be transferred into the plant by the xylem, and this mineral plus food, they used to move into the plant with the help of phloem. I was saying xylem, phylum, phloem. Okay, so basically there are two conducting tissues present in the plant. One is xylem and one is phloem. Together we call it as vascular tissues, which help in conduction. Xylem used to be, friends, like suppose this is a plant and these are the roots below it. So into the plant here, xylem will move from down to upward. It will be absorbing water from the roots, and then with the roots, minerals are also absorbed. And then it will be moving up to the all the part of the plant. And then phloem is like the food one, which is transferring. And we know that maximum food happen at the place where photosynthesis happen, and that's in the leaves, but also in the green part. But from there, it moves in all the part of the plant. In case of xylem, you may say that's kind of unidirectional movement because that's against the gravity or from root to shoot. But in case of phloem, this is moving from the place where the photosynthesis is happening to all the part of the plant. So this is kind of multi-directional. Is that clear? So that is how transportation happen. Now, if a question come in your paper, guys, let me see if I have a space. Okay. Now, if a question come in your paper, guys, that what is the importance of transportation? You can clearly write this. What you will be writing, it helps in water movement, it helps in mineral movement with the water, it helps in food movement wherever it is necessary. Other than that, it helps in growth of the plant, and water and these minerals, they also help in synthesis of biomolecules. So it helps in synthesis process. Synthesis as in nucleic acids are formed, as in proteins are formed, as in chlorophyll molecules are formed. So whatever biomolecules, whatever chemical molecule kind of thing, plant also have hormones. So for the formation of them, this transportation is necessary because important ingredients will be coming through them. Fair enough? Now guys, if I talk about how absorption happen, like into the root things are absorbed. Absorption of minerals and ions thing used to happen by passive transport and active transport. Or you may say it on transport, passive absorption and active absorption. This is absorption, guys, and then active absorption. So into the active absorption, energy is used in the form of ATP, and in passive absorption, energy is not utilized in the form of ATP, but things are being absorbed and then they are transported to wherever they are necessary. Now I tell you one more thing, guys. I'm just adding one more thing in regard to the food thing. You know, in case of water, I might say the transportation is happening. In case of food, there is another terminology. We call it as translocation. That's my digital pen problem. Trans. I'm gonna just press an escape and come back. Keep full screen again. I suppose you can see my screen. Let me see if you can see it. Okay. So you can see this, right? PowerPoint slideshow. Yes, you can see this. Okay. So I was telling you that in case of plant, we call it as translocation. Translocation. Now it is working fine. Translocation as in molecules are moving from one place to another place. I tell you one thing, guys, where food is formed, that place is known as source. And where food is moving, where it is needed, that place is known as sink. Source used to have obviously higher concentration, and sink used to have lower concentration of the food. So food always move from source to sink, that is from higher to low concentration, or source is the place where it is getting formed. And the movement of the food in the plant, that is known as translocation. Clear? Now, guys, as we are talking about the phenomena transportation in the plant, and this is how everything is getting transported. Now, one thing we should understand, that water, it's moving in the plant, and then there is a phenomena which used to happen in the leaf when all the extra water gets out of the leaf, and then the plant absorb more. That phenomena is known as transpiration. That when water is getting kind of evaporated. Now, let's have a quick discussion on transpiration. Transpiration, I don't have to define it. It's like the evaporation thing. So you may say that's the loss of water from the stomata of the leaf. Is it always stomata? Loss of water from plant, from pore structure of the plant. Now my question was, is it always stomata? No. You can already see this thing on the screen. This is actually about the type of transpiration, which is of four types: lenticular, cuticular, stomatal, and the bark one. So the first one is lenticular. Guys, there are, I think in the last part also, I explained you lenticels, which used to be present on the stem. It appears to be like a small pores like structure, and through which if extra water is getting out, that is known as lenticular transpiration. Then there is next one, which is cuticular. Cuticular used to happen from the cuticle. If you remember, cuticle is like a very thin membranous part. Yeah, in the very first part I explained when I was talking about photosynthesis, which is like a very membranous kind of thing. It is excreted or released. Excreted, I should not use the word, but yeah, it is formed by the epidermal layer of the leaf. Yeah, so from when there extra water is coming out from there, that's cuticular, and then there is a stomatal. Stomata, I do not have to explain again and again, because you have learned that from your lower grades, that stomata mainly used to be like a kidney-shaped structure, which are the modified form of the epidermal cells. Yeah, the guard cells are a type of epidermal cells. Please remember, guard cells, just make it open and close. And from here, all the extra water. So through the stomata, transpiration happen. CO2 take exit, which is the product of respiration. CO2 take entry during photosynthesis. That's what you have to remember. That's it. And more of the stomatas are present on the lower side of the leaf and not on the upper side. Please remember, that's because they have to save the water, so that then more of the transpiration will happen. That should not happen. So the next one, bark type. Bark is the external, bark is the external part. What do I say? That's protective one, but that's the place where pores are present and through which water is just moving out. Acha, one thing I forgot to tell. No, I don't have to tell that. Actually, that's something else. I was about to say about guttation thing that's related to the way excretion. I'll mention that in excretory system. There's some additional thing was striking up my mind. I'll tell you that in excretion part. Not telling you now. Let's continue. So that was all about transpiration. That is all about the transportation in the plant. Now we have to talk about transportation in human being. Guys, in our body, we are having fluid moving through our body. How many fluids are there in our body? Blood, cerebrospinal fluid, saliva, tears, mucus, cerebrospinal, I mentioned that, lymph. So there are so many of the fluid moving in our body, they all are transported. Mainly there are two transport, these all are included in transportation, I'm telling you, but there are mainly two major transportation system present in our body. That is known as circulatory system, which helps in circulation. So there are two type of circulatory system. One is, or you may say, vascular system. So there are two type of circulatory system. I'm repeating this thing: blood circulatory system and lymphatic circulatory system, or you may say lymphatic system. Lymphatic circulatory system. Like in a body, blood is flowing from one place to another place through the vessel. In the same way, we have a fluid which is known as lymph. I'm gonna give you an explanation of what for now you just understand. Into the blood circulatory system, we used to have heart, blood vessels, and blood. Into lymphatic system, first thing you have to understand, lymphatic system is a part of immune system. This is not the immune system, this is a major part of immune system. It has a fluid present in it which wherever go in our body, it protects us. Lymphatic system used to be having lymphatic organ and nodes, and then there is lymphatic vessels, and then there is lymph. Like the way we have the blood, like the way we have the lymph. And FYI, lymph is formed from the blood. Now, guys, in this part, we will be covering this thing. Heart will be continuous because heart has a lot of information to be shared, but that's fine. Let's see what we are able to cover today. So the first thing that we have to discuss about heart, but before that, I had to tell you one more thing. Oh God, I forgot that. Let me tell you, I need a blank space on this. So let me just stop the screen share, add a slide and come back. I suppose you can see this screen. I wanted a blank space here so that I can write something. I wanted to tell you that circulatory system, it used to be of two types. The blood circulatory system I'm talking about. Blood circulatory system is used to be of two type. One is open type of circulatory system and one is closed type of circulatory system. We animals, we used to have a closed circulatory system. Open circulatory system used to be present in many of the insects that belong to arthropoda category and many other categories. Now, point is that if I tell you the difference into the closed circulatory system, proper blood vessels are present, but in this case, this thing is comparatively absent. I tell you how. Imagine, not imagine, you have home. Into your home, there is a water tank. There are water pipelines, valve. Pipeline used to have the valve to control the flow. Wherever water is necessary through the pipes, it's going in the kitchen, in the garden, in the washroom, on the wash basin, if it is in the central area. So point is that nothing. Now there is a second scenario. There is a water tank. There are no pipeline. Whoever needs the water, go there and take it through the bucket. So the first case is actually the closed circulatory system, where heart is there, blood vessels are there, and everything is flowing in a proper manner. But the second case is open circulatory system. Water tank is actually the heart, and the valve are blood vessels. So here heart is there, but organs are bathing in blood. It's everywhere, blood and blood, no blood vessels. Are you getting my point? Blood vessel as in which helped in conduction and that thing. Otherwise, there's an arrangement in different way, but this is how you remember it. That is open and closed circulatory system. I suppose that's clear to you. Now I'm going to move forward. I'm going to teach you about the first part of the circulatory system, which is heart. Okay, heart. I don't have to show you this. I'll show you this later. Okay, so basically, heart now. Heart, it is like a feast size, protected by the rib cage again, present nearby the lungs. Is it? Tell me more information. Why did I teach you about the heart? Blood and blood vessels. Okay. Mechanism of heart thing I'll teach you later. Okay, it's okay. I'll tell you structure and function now only. Let's complete heart here. I thought I'll tell you this thing later, but that's fine. I'm going to teach you here only. Okay, so human heart, it appears to be like the size of a fist, which is nearby 12 centimeter in length and 9 centimeter in breadth. This is present behind sternum. And guys, we used to say that heart is slightly tilted toward the left, but point is that its heart is present in the center. It's just the lower part, ventricle part, which is a little toward the left. Not the whole heart. You know, heart is made up of the muscles, which is known as myocardium. Sorry, that's myo. What I'm writing, cardium, myocardium. And the covering, the inner lining of heart is endothelium. Inner lining of heart, this is endothelium. Sorry, it's THELIUM. You know, heart is externally, this is the muscle of the heart. Heart is externally covered up by the endocardium. Am I saying it right? That's pericardium, I'm sorry. The heart is covered up by a membrane, which is known as pericardium. You know, in between the myocardium and pericardium, there is a fluid present in it, and that protect the heart from any kind of shock, from any kind of injury. That's very much, you be maintaining the pressure also, protecting it. There are many functions that it is doing. So this is the basic structure of the heart. Now I have to tell you internal information about heart. So about the internal information about heart, did I leave this place as blank? I'll tell you here the internal information. So basically, if I talk about the basic diagram, heart used to have 4 chambers. All the crocodile used to have, all the reptiles used to have 3-chambered heart, except crocodile. They have 4-chambered. FYI, I'm telling. Anyways, heart used to have 4 chambers here like this. To the left, we call it as right. To the right, we call it as left. So this is left auricle. This is right auricle, because I'm talking about my body. So that's my right, my left. That's how we talk about. This is right ventricle. This is left ventricle. It's fine if you don't know spelling of auricle and ventricle. I have a well-labeled diagram. I have already shown you in between the slides. I was moving then. So I don't have to tell you the definition. Okay. So these above part are auricle and lower one is ventricle. Now, there is a word which is known as septa. Septa means something which is separating the two things. So the one which is separating two auricle, this one, this is known as auricular septum or septa. This one which is in between the ventricle, we call it as ventricular septum. And the one which is in between the auricle and the ventricle all throughout, this is known as auriculoventricular septum. I hope you understand it. Now, guys, you know what? Heart used to collect the blood, send it to the lungs. I've told you, teach you about the lungs before. So their oxygen and CO2 exchange happen. So from the heart, blood go toward the lungs. How it is, first it is collected in the heart, then it is moving into the lungs, then it is coming back to the heart, and then it is distributed to all over the body. So here first blood is coming into the heart, like from there blood is coming, from here blood is coming. Actually this is known as vena cava. This is vena cava. This is superior vena cava and this is inferior vena cava. I should have told you, I should have, teach you blood vessels first, but that's fine. After it, I'm going to cover that up. This is inferior vena cava. Vena cava means group of veins, group of blood vessels, which is a vein. So a group of veins are forming vena cava. So superior vena cava is collecting blood from the upper part of the body, inferior from the lower part of the body, and they all open up in this. They all open up. Superior and inferior both open up into the right auricle. Remember, this inferior is moving back from the right ventricle and then opening up into this right auricle. Both are. Then they open up there, and yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll tell you further information later after, but this is superior and this is inferior vena cava. Now, how from the heart blood is moving toward the lungs? So there is this, you may say, artery, which is going toward the lungs. Imagine there are lungs towards me. So this is pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery. A-R-T-E-R-Y. So from this, it is going into the lungs, and into the lungs, they are filtered and come back. So when they come back, they come here into the left auricle through pulmonary vein. And then from the left ventricle, there is an opening, and this is actually the opening of aorta. I am saying now that when blood come back from the lungs to the heart, they are distributed to all part of the body. So from there, it will be distributed to all part of the body. And this is known as aorta. I repeat myself, there are 4 chambers in the heart, auricle and ventricle. Blood used to take deoxygenated blood from all over the body, send it to the lungs and give it back. After coming back, it is going to all part of the body. So how heart is taking blood into it from all over the body? Through vena cava. It come into the right auricle from there, and from right ventricle it go into the lungs through pulmonary artery. This is pulmonary artery, and through pulmonary vein it come back. I'm going to explain you the process also, don't worry. I'll repeat everything, don't worry. One thing I forgot to mention. Entry, auriculoventricular septum. On the right side, auriculoventricular septum is known as tricuspid wall. I have to escape. I have to press escape. I have to share my screen. Reason being, keep, and then full screen, and then zoom, and then screen share. Yeah, and I suppose you see this because it was not working fine. Huh? Yeah, so auriculoventricular septum, this is also known as tricuspid wall. And on the right side here, my right side, not like the body's one. In between left auricle and left ventricle, this one here, this is known as bicuspid wall. Valve as in it has 2 valves. Bicuspid valve. So on the right side, tricuspid valve is there. On the left side, bicuspid valve is there. I repeat myself that there are 4 chambers in the heart: auricle and ventricle, right auricle, left auricle, right ventricle, left ventricle, and then blood is being collected into the heart through vena cava. They both inferior and superior vena cava open up into this area, and then blood is going toward the lungs for filtration from right ventricle, and it is coming back after filtration through pulmonary vein, and it come up into the left auricle, and blood is distributed to all over the body part through aorta. Now, one thing I have to tell you, all the maximum part of the heart, they used to have the valve. I'm going to show you that on the diagram, literally how many valves and where they are present. But valve is something which prevents backflow. They're kind of opening and closing and prevent backflow of the blood. They prevent backflow of the blood. Is that clear? So now this is about the basic structure of the heart. I'm going to come back to this diagram and explain you how they are functioning. But let's see the diagram. This is heart. This is right auricle. This is left, right auricle and atrium is the same thing. This is right auricle. This is left auricle. This one. This is right ventricle. This is left ventricle. So from, see, this is superior vena cava. This is inferior vena cava, the blue one. Blue as in because it's having impure blood. It's coming in this part. And from this part, blood is going to the lungs for filtration through pulmonary vein. Through pulmonary artery, sorry. It is coming back through pulmonary vein into the left atrium. Now I tell you how this heart is functioning. How beautiful is this diagram? It is actually a GIF file. I'm going to show you this. Why it's not working? It's okay. I'll press escape. I will stop the screen share because I have to show you that diagram. Yeah, you can see my face till the time. It was a beautiful diagram. That why in this presentation it's not working, I don't know, but now it must be working. Okay, I have added it, but if now it doesn't work, then not my fault. Yeah, it's working now. It's just that it is comparatively slow. Here, you see? Ah, it was supposed to be working. But when I start writing, then it doesn't work. I didn't realize. You see, this is tricuspid wall. This is bicuspid wall in the heart. The white thing is actually fiber, Purkinje fiber. They help in conduction of electrical impulse throughout the heart. That's why it just beats. How beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna come back to this screen and I'll tell you how blood flow happens into the heart. I'm gonna use the blue color. So basically what happened, first of all blood into the right auricle and from the inferior vena cava also and from the superior vena cava also, that is collected into the right auricle. Then all the blood is collected into the right auricle, the blood pressure become really high. So that is the reason tricuspid valve open and all the blood come into the right ventricle. Now here also valve are present. What is the name of the valve? I tell you, but here also valve open. That's pulmonary valve, obviously. So then pulmonary valve open and all blood go into the lungs because then pressure of the heart into the right ventricle increase now. That's why it's going into the lungs through pulmonary artery. Now into the lungs we breathe. Oxygen CO2 exchange happen. Blood after filtration come back into the this left auricle. Then here all the blood is coming and then again blood pressure increases in this area and bicuspid valve open and all the blood come into this area. Now aorta also have the valve, we call it as aortic valve. Because of the blood pressure, aortic valve open and all blood is distributed into the body through the aorta. Aorta further used to form the branches which is known as arteries. Okay, so this is how heart is functioning. There are a few things I'll tell you through the diagram. I hope that's clear to you. It's really very easy, very easy. Okay, so now one thing I wanted to say that mitral valve is another name of bicuspid valve. mitral wall. This is another name of bicuspid wall, which used to open. Is something else left? I think I'm done with this. I mean, the central thing that you see here, this is Purkinje fiber. Let me write it. This is the fiber which I actually help in distributing information throughout the heart. Yeah, I don't think any more information is left in this. We're done with the heart. So guys, we are done with the internal structure of the heart. We are also done with the working of heart. If you have any issue, just put it on the discussion board, okay? There are a few things about the heart, which is heartbeat, blood pressure and all. It's fine. We'll do that in the next part. But for now, structure and function of heart is clear. Now we have to talk about blood and the blood vessels. Let's start. Have you ever tasted your blood? Have you done this? I have done. It's little metallic taste, sometimes salty. There are few things present in blood. Blood is transporting in nature. In our body, if a question come, already I'm answering, that if a question come in your paper, that what is the importance of blood? It has many cells. These cells are working. You can mix all the points about all the cell types that I'm going to explain. Second, it helps in transportation. Blood, I'm going to write it here. It helps in transportation. Transportation of biomolecules, transportation of hormones, enzymes, nutrients, minerals, everything. Heart. It helps in maintaining temperature throughout the body. That is known as thermoregulation. Blood. It helps in maintaining osmotic condition, water concentration. That is known as osmoregulation. Blood is the one that used to go toward the kidney for the removal of the waste product. Excretion. It helps in excretion because it is filtered. Blood is the one that carry oxygen and CO2 wherever it is necessary. You can add these points into the transportation part. These are few things I have told you. Rest individually cells information I'm going to provide you. But one thing that we have to understand, blood has certain composition. Blood used to have mainly two things. One is plasma. Like suppose I'm taking a test tube of blood and I'm keeping it just like that for a little while. So the leftover transparent part, because all the red blood cells are going to settle down. So the comparatively transparent part is plasma and the rest of the part are the cells. So let's have a discussion on them. Guys, even before I start, picture is covering it. There is a question. What is the difference between serum and plasma? I am not answering this question in this video. Probably I might answer it in the next part, but I want you to search about it. Let me give you information about the plasma. Out of the 55% plasma, there are 90+% is liquid and rest of few percent is only certain biomolecules. So it consists of solvent for carrying other substances, as in this is the function of the plasma. It is absorbing heat. This is also maintaining temperature, and just carrying the transporting work. It consists of many of the minerals, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, chloride, and bicarbonate, which is obviously doing the osmoregulation, osmotic balance, and it maintains pH. It has different proteins present in it. Albumin, fibrinogen, and globulin. Albumin is the basic nutrient protein. Fibrinogen is actually the one that is doing clotting of blood. Whenever you have any injury, your blood clot, fibrinogen is the one that will be coming up there and helping it up. And globulin, if you have heard about antibodies, that we have a lot of antibodies in our body, they're protecting us. That antibody is always made up of a protein which is known as globulin. And to the antibody, we call it as immunoglobulin. I'm writing it. It helps in formation of immunoglobulin, also known as antibodies. And yeah, these are the function and other nutrient, as in glucose, amino acids, vitamins, waste product, the respiratory gases, hormones, they all are present in the plasma. Remember. Now I'm going to talk about all the cells present into the blood. Formed element because they're deposited, we call it as the formed element. So there are mainly three types of cells present in the blood. One is known as red blood cell. Then there is W blood cells. W blood cell, white blood cell. Sorry, I'm saying that something is weird. Third is platelets. Talking about the RBCs, it used to be having number from 4 to 6 million. It transport oxygen and help transporting carbon dioxide. I'm going to teach you this in detail, don't worry. Then WBC. WBC is mainly of 5 types, but there are 2 types. I'm going to explain you. For now, just remember the name. Basophil, eosinophil, neutrophil, monocyte, and lymphocyte. These are the type of WBCs. Then the platelets. I don't know whether you're able to see it on the screen or not, but platelet is the one that's present in from 1 lakh to 4 lakh, and it used to help in blood clotting. Yeah, whenever any viral infection, actually doctor used to check the platelet count because that's greatly reduced in that one. So these are all type of blood cells and the blood composition that you're seeing right now. I have few more slides that I have added to give you a little more information about the types of blood cells. So this one is here. First, you understand erythrocyte and platelet from here. I'll come back and I'll show you WBCs again. It's fine. You're tending to read this information for now, but that's fine. I'll come back later. That's everything is for you. Erythrocyte are the red blood cells. That's another name of them. Wherever, guys, you see the word erythro, means something is red. If you see the word leuco, that means something is white or transparent. Platelet, no. Okay, so this used to be having biconcave shape. They do not have any nucleus except the camel and llama, all this category. They used to have nucleated one. Now, point is that why they are enucleated, as in when they were young one, they used to have the nucleus, but then gradually nucleus disappeared because they help to have maximum hemoglobin in it. You know that they are red colored because they have hemoglobin in it, which ultimately have iron element in it. That's why they are red in color. And hemoglobin helps in making, I told you, in respiratory pigment, it helps in carrying oxygen. Why do I have to tell you that again? So salmon color, diameter is 7 to 8 micrometer. Number is this. Why they have written is 5 to 9. Okay, that's duration of development. And lifespan is actually nearby 3 to 4 months. If I talk about all the blood cells, they are mainly formed into the bone marrow, even if it is RBC, WBC, or platelet. And they die in the spleen. Birthplace is bone marrow, death place is spleen. Spleen is a part of lymphatic system. I'll explain you that in the next part, don't worry. So there it is formed, and then yeah, they transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. I suppose I'm done. Is something left to tell you? No, that's fine. This information is fine. But only I wanted to tell you, if you know urine color used to be pale yellow, it used to have the broken pigment of hemoglobin because hemoglobin is just broken up into the spleen. So the leftover is in the urine. That's why that color. Urochrome is the pigment of the urine. It's fine. Now you know it. Spelling I'll tell you in the excretory chapter, the next part. Okay, so the next one is platelets. Platelet are the one which help in blood clotting. So this is discoid cytoplasmic fragment containing granules stained deep purple. Stained deep purple as in when we stain it. Stain as in when we want to see it under the microscope. It will be comparatively transparent. So we use a dye, then we see it. So then stain is this color. Diameter is this. Number is from 1.5 lakh to 5 lakh, and age is 5 to 10 days. It keeps on forming up, keeps on getting dead. So seal small tears in blood vessel. Instrumental in clotting. You don't have to write it, just that it is present in the blood, and it helps in blood clotting with the help of fibrinogen factor. I have told you, and that's it. Now I'm going to provide you information about the WBCs, but before that you have to see this diagram. WBC is basically of 2 types, granulocyte and agranulocyte. Granule means a little dotted structure. Into the granulocyte, dotted structures are present, but into the agranulocyte, nothing is there on the structure. So agranulocyte is further of 2 types, monocyte and lymphocyte, and granulocyte is further of 3 types, eosinophil, basophil, and neutrophil. If you see this beautiful diagram, guys, nucleus is the one that is different in all of the cells. In all of the cell, you will find nucleus, and that is how we just describe them, and that is how we differentiate all of them. These all cells, they have different function. They all are part of the protecting cells of our body. They all are part of lymphatic system. They all are part of immune system. They protect us wherever they are. They work in a different way in different type of infection. Now, guys, you must have heard the name macrophage. Have you ever heard the name macrophage? Macrophage monocyte का बड़ा भाई है. नहीं. Monocyte ही macrophage है. Monocyte itself is the macrophage. Monocyte used to get mature and ultimately it is going to form the macrophage. Clear? Macrophage and monocyte, they used to eat up the pathogen. I did not mention it during the time of amoeba phagocytosis, but monocyte and macrophage also eat up the pathogen the same way amoeba eats up the food. Process is phagocytosis. Now, lymphocytes. There are mainly two types of lymphocytes present in our body, B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. They are the one which produce immunoglobulin. They are the one which produce antibodies. They protect us. Clear? Now let me tell you types, function of them. Coming back to this, neutrophil, this is you having multi-lobe nucleus. Inconspicuous cytoplasmic granule means inconspicuous means invisible. Yeah, this information is much enough. Number per 3,000 to 7,000. Mainly numbering thing is important for this and this. Only these two numberings are important that you have to remember. Otherwise, if you don't want to do other, don't worry. You don't have to do. Just remember functions of them. They destroy bacteria by phagocytosis. Yeah, I mentioned it. So basically, monocyte and neutrophil, they both show phagocytosis to eat upon the pathogen. Develop into macrophages, that's written there. Talking about the eosinophil nucleus, just remember what design of nucleus is there, what function they are doing, that's it. Nucleus is bilobed, that's it. Now, they turn off allergic responses and kill parasites. So they work in allergic reaction. Remember that. Now, basophil. Basophil is nucleus is again bilobed here and it releases histamine, another mediator for inflammation. So basically, they are also the one that work during the time of allergy and inflammation, a burning sensation. So these are all type of WBCs. These are all type of blood cells that I have told you. I suppose everything is clear to you. Age of them also, yeah, fine. Age of them also you should remember. For leukocyte, as in general, you can remember from 2 to 3 days on an average. Why they have written 7 to 11, 7 to 11? 2 to 3 days maximum about the WBC on an average you remember, and this is 5 to 10 days. About RBCs, WBC, only this one you remember, rest you don't have to do. If you want to read it, go for it. Not a difficult information to understand. Fair enough? So now let's move further. The next thing. Next thing is actually the same diagram. Wait, I have left a blank space here. I wanted to tell you something there. Do I? No, I do not. Thought of to tell you anything. Let me see. Acha, I thought I'm gonna explain you functions of blood here, but that's I have explained you already. So blank space, bye-bye. Let me not keep you the blank and let's move forward. So this is the same diagram I have added up so that you can just have a revision. So blood is 8%, other fluid is 92%. Out of the 8% blood in our body, there is 55% plasma, formed element 45. This is centrifuge. Centrifuge as in there is a machine centrifugation. We take the test tube and we move it at a very high speed and then all the cells are just, separated up. And ignore the background sound, guys. It's probably the, what do we say? Parking area nearby my place. Sorry for that. Okay. So the studio room where I'm sitting. Anyways, guys, let's continue here. So into the plasma, it will having 7% protein, 92% water and other solutes. List, you have learned that already. Next, it's having all the cells, platelets, leukocyte and erythrocyte number we have done. Into the protein, the percentage wise, prothrombin and fibrinogen also, both of them helps in blood clotting. These are all the solutes and these are all the cells. I don't have to mention anything in this, but I have put this diagram because I liked it. And I thought you will also like it and you will love it. With this, we are done with blood and its composition. Now we have to talk about the last part, which is the blood vessel. Guys, I told you vena cava, aorta. So there are veins and artery present in our body. A lot of artery together from the aorta and lot of vein together from the vena cava. Into the artery, mainly oxygenated blood used to move, except pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery was taking blood from heart to lungs. That's having deoxygenated blood, except pulmonary artery. Here, all the veins used to have deoxygenated blood, except pulmonary vein. That's that's taking blood from lungs to the heart again, which is pure, which is oxygenated. Now, talking further, if you take a look here from heart, it is coming to all the part of the body. So you can write one more thing, that artery used to distribute blood to all part of the body. Vein is collecting blood from all of the part of the body. And then you can say this artery, this is taking blood away from heart, and this is moving toward heart. That's the difference that you can mention. Okay. Now, talking about the structure, if you see the diameter of vein is more, and here diameter is less. When there is a less diameter, blood will be moving faster. When there is a more diameter, blood will be moving slower. So, blood pressure in this case is less, 80 and 120, if you know. I'll tell you that in the next part. Here, the blood pressure is high. So, blood pressure is high into that. Now, looking into it, it's having a narrow lumen. Lumen means internal cavity. Like suppose I'm having a pen, the internal cavity internally is known as lumen. Yeah, and internal layer of the cell is endothelium. Endothelium I mentioned in the alveoli part also. So you know endothelium is the capillary thing. A capillary thing, I'll come to that later. So these are the smooth muscles present, and you don't have to remember the external name, external elastic lamina. That's just external muscular layer. You want to learn that or not. But basement membrane is always present with the tissues. I have already explained you. You've learned that in tissues chapter also. Yeah, one thing that you have to remember, that into the vein, always valve are present. It is not there in the artery. Okay. So then endothelium is also there. I suppose that information is much enough for you for the differences. I have told you 5 to 6, 7 differences. Now, guys, remember this thing. Blood is moving through the blood vessel. There are arteries, there are veins. Artery used to form further its branches, arterioles, meta-arteriole, and then ultimately they form capillaries. Capillary is just a single layered cell. I have explained you capillary in the alveoli also, that alveoli is nearby having capillary through which blood is moving. So here all the endothelial layer is there, and into it blood is moving. All the cells are moving. But it's very single layered thin membrane. So artery also form the capillary and veins also form the capillary. Capillary is the place where arteries and veins are meeting, and capillary is the place where filtration happens. Where this filtration is helping it up, I'm going to explain you in the next part. But yeah, capillary, about capillary, you can just remember they are having the least diameter. Their diameter is nearby 70 millimeter. They're having endothelial membrane, and they help in exchange of gases. Like imagine you're having an injury. At injury, an infection has occurred. Now you know that WBC of your cell are going to protect you there. WBCs are in the blood, in the lymph also. But from the blood, how WBCs are going to be there at that place? They are going to be filtered. They will be moving through the capillaries. Through the capillary, they will take exit, and then they will go to the place. Means WBC and plasma, they can move through the capillary. They can move in and out of the capillary. Just remember it. WBC and plasma can move just in and out of the capillary. That's all about the blood vessels. But if that question comes as a difference, you can refer to this table. So artery sends blood from heart, and it sends blood to heart. Into the capillary, exchange happen. I've told you this. Pressure is high, low, low. Capillary obviously least diameter, so low. Hold on. Diameter of vein is more. Why they've written like this? Hold on for a second. Into the artery, blood pressure is. Okay. Why I'm getting confused? They have written it right. So into the artery, blood vessel diameter is more, na? You see? Diameter carrying. Hey Bhagwan, what's wrong with me? Forget everything. Diameter is less. high blood pressure. So it's the blood pressure. Diameter is less, high blood pressure. Diameter is wide, low blood pressure, extremely low blood pressure. It should be high though, but yeah, because blood can move in and out through it, that's why. You understood it? Or shall I explain it again? It's because of the diameter that blood pressure is high or low. And here, because filtration happened, that's the reason. Wall thickness, thick and thin. I did not mention it, but now you remember this is extremely thin that I have told you. Wall layer. Yeah, so the wall layer that was not clearly mentioned in this external elastic lamina. Then there is smooth muscles. But actually, there are three layers, mainly tunica adventitia, media, and intima here also. But they are only tunica and intima means the endothelial layer. You want to remember the name, remember, but no one is going to ask you. That's fine, you don't remember. Okay, muscle and elastic fiber, that you should remember. The large amount I have shown you, I have told you that muscles are present nearby, and here a small amount and here none. Valve into the veins. That thing also I have told you. So with this, all the blood vessels information is much clear to you. And I suppose you understood everything about heart, blood and blood vessels. Rest of the information to be continued in the next part. And we have to remember, we have to learn another life process also that obviously you will be learning in the upcoming part. But I'm not saying you buy. Let me see. There are certain questions, but before that, I added up a video on my OneNote. Let's see what's inside the video. I have not checked the video. Let me show you. Where is my OneNote? Yeah, I was searching hard, Jiv. This is transportation in human being. I'm not gonna play it as a complete. I'm gonna just fast forward it. So basically, what they're explaining that into the heart, this is 3D diagram that you can see. There is blood, which is having plasma and formed element. I have told you this. I don't have to explain this again. This is heart. So into the heart, there are different parts. You know everything. This is internal part of the heart. All the sections they have shown. Let me see if they are explaining the flow of blood or not. Actually, the diagram I showed you, it says showing all the arrows. That arrow explain where blood is flowing. Once you make the diagram, you should also go for that arrow. Okay. Two times. One thing I would like to explain. There are two type of circulation, double circulation and single circulation. Into human being, double circulation happen. Means blood is coming to the heart two times. One, it is moving toward the heart, which is deoxygenated, then it go to the lung, come back. Two times it is coming, that's why double circulation. In fishes, I explained in the last video that this is single circulation, that blood is just going and coming back and that's it. This is human blood, that's very kiddish video. I added it so that you can just enjoy it. So I'm gonna just fast forward it. Hey there. I'm just trying to, make sounds of this person that I don't like. Let's move. He's showing all the composition. This composition thing I've told you 10 number of times now. I don't have to explain. Video is added. You can just see. Thank you. Let me come back to the presentation thing now. What is the function of transpiration in plant? It helps in thermoregulation, maintenance of temperature. It helps in absorption of water and minerals because the transpiration, it creates a pull into the plant. We call it as transpiration pull. And because of the transpiration pull, it causes absorption of minerals and water. What else point you can think of? Water is also maintaining the osmotic pressure thing, na? So osmoregulation also. Guys, osmo word is related to the water itself. So do not get confused at this point. Osmotic, I had to write osmotic regulation. Osmoregulation, but that's fine. You understand it now. Let's see what they have written. Carbon dioxide entry and water to provide. Carbon dioxide entry, why they would be writing this in the transpiration? They're talking about the stomata there. Cut this point. That should be included in the stomata part, not here. What are the four main functions of heart? I'm not going to answer this question. You can see. Take a minute, just read it up. Pumping hormones, receiving. I have told you the function of heart and function of blood. So heart is pumping blood. Whatever blood is doing, you can just talk about it. Okay, so with this, guys, we are done on few part. We are done with. So we are done with heart structure, how heart is working. We are done with blood composition, all the cells. We are done with blood vessels, arteries, veins, and capillary. Further information about the human circulatory system, and of course, a little information about the lymphatic system, I'm going to provide you in the next part. And for now, if you have any doubt, just go back and watch it up again. Else, you can post your doubts on the forum, on the discussion board. I don't have to tell you this thing in every part of the video. Bye bye, sayonara, namaste.